Everyone for being here tonight. We will call the meeting to order, starting with roll call, please. I'm here. Here.
Here.
Here. If you could all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we need to approve the agenda for the evening. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting of October. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dr. Spratt, Superintendent's report.
All right. Thank you, President Berrigan and governing board members. Last month, we recognized 7 of our administrators with our annual Pinnacle of Leadership Awards. One of our administrators was absent, and he is back tonight. So please join me in congratulating Executive Director of Support Services, Robert Jacobson. Robert, if you'd please come up. Last Friday, there we go. Last Friday, our district lead psychologist, Wanda Fernandez, was recognized at the annual Arizona School Psychologists Association Conference. I'm going to try that again. The annual Arizona School Psychologists Association Conference for the 23-24 Arizona School Psychologist of the Year. Congratulations. Wanda, go ahead and come on up, and while you're doing that, let me just say, board, that this is a and audience, this is a very, very well-deserved recognition for Wanda as her leadership, professionalism, mentorship, incredible problem solving, and I could go on, is second to none. We are so blessed that Wanda is on the Levine team, and this affirms her tremendous impact on our entire community and what we already know about this tremendous leader in our district. So congratulations again, Wanda. We created a video for the awards ceremony, and now that Dr. Kaplinger has stood up, he had a picture with, and they call Wanda Wonder Woman at Levine Elementary. Had Wonder Woman cutouts behind him, and really aptly describes the work that you do. And so thank you again, Wanda. The developmental preschool program celebrated their annual preschool pumpkin patch at the Levine campus with 50 families in attendance. Students and families had the opportunity to pick a pumpkin. Okay, this is all the things they got to do. Pick a pumpkin from the patch, carve or decorate their pumpkin, play with pumpkin Play-Doh, bead bracelets, bead is a verb, guess how many candy corns were in a jar, play with the jack-o'-hammer, decorate a trick-or-treat bag, and participate in the pumpkin bean bag toss. kept them very busy. A special thank you to our incredible preschool teachers and related service providers for all their hard work in making this a memorable event for our families. And the developmental preschool is very grateful for the tax donations that made this event possible. International Pen Pals at Estrella Foothills. I think we can also now say International Zoom Pals. 8th grade students at Estrella Foothills Global Academy had the opportunity to virtually meet their pen pal friends from the Likuni Secondary School in Malawi, Africa. Students shared photos and asked each other questions. It was an incredible cultural experience for our students as global learners. Kim Riero from Urban Farming Education organized the event. Over 20 families joined us for our annual Family Literacy Night. Parents and students enjoyed learning strategies and tools to support their love of reading. Each Levine student was given a new book to take home to read with their families, as well as helpful handouts. Parents even had a turn at identifying Spalding phonograms. Now, it can't get more exciting than sitting with your kid doing Spalding phonograms. It was a great evening of shared learning and homeschool partnerships. Thank you to Angie Smith and her team for making this possible. Rogers Ranch hosted their first ever Intel Engineering Day for their 5th through 8th grade students. Engineers from Intel visited with the students and discussed engineering as a career option. They also guided students through 2 engineering challenges. Students designed boats out of clay to see which design could hold the most mass using pennies. And I've been involved with Intel ever since I was a teacher. A group of students at Rogers Ranch had the most pennies in a clay boat in the history of the many years we've done Intel Engineering Day, which basically you get a stick of Play-Doh, you have to form it, and then you start putting pennies in it until it sinks. And so congratulations to those students. And speaking of that, winners of each classroom's Clay Boat Challenge had the opportunity to demonstrate their engineering skills by designing a contraption to hold an egg, and we dropped it from various heights. And so that was our second competition. But thank you to Intel and the staff at Rogers Ranch. It was a great event. The Arizona Cardinals brought their mini skills camp to Rogers Ranch. Cardinals volunteers, along with player Caden Davis and school resource officers, all assisted in running students in grades 5 through 8 through several drills. It was a beautiful morning to get fresh air and exercise. Carnivals, trunk or treats, Boo Fests, and family fun nights are just a few of the many fall family activities taking place across Levine schools over the last few weeks. These events brought great enjoyment to our students and school communities. I want to say thank you to all of our staff that participate in these evening activities, and they're just wonderful traditions on each of our campuses. So thank you to them. Our Student Services Department held their annual Special Olympics Field Day at Levine School last week. Special education students from across the district participated in the event, which brought activities such as soccer, bocce ball, ladder ball, and so much more to them. NJHS students from Cesar Chavez High School helped run stations and support our students. It was a wonderful, cool morning, finally, here in Levine to hold that event. Representatives from Vulcan Materials stopped by Desert Meadows to check out the school's new coding cafe and hear from students on upcoming technology needs. So basically, the students presented to Vulcan what they need to continue to strengthen their signature program. They did an outstanding job. They asked for 3D printers and drones for their technology toolbox. And Vulcan also visited Rogers Ranch, students from Rogers Ranch, and this is a picture from the pitch, and we're asking for additional technology to support their STEM program. Congratulations to our intramural champions. Trailside Point won their match over Vista del Sur in basketball. And we don't have a picture, but we had a great softball match as well. Levine took the trophy, for that in their win over Vista. So let's give those schools a round of applause. There it is. That is their coach. That's a great picture. Let's back up one, Butch. Yeah, there you go. So a celebration on a beautiful evening of their softball championship over there at Levine. And as we head into Veterans Day on Friday, we would like to say thank you to our community members and staff who have served. If you know a veteran, please don't forget to reach out to them on Friday. And if you are a veteran, would you please stand at this time? I know we've got one right there. Next, our employees of the month. Starting with our certified employee of the month, Casey Osterday, our school counselor at EFGA. Talk about making a lot of impact in just her second year as a school counselor at Estrella Foothills Global Academy. Casey's priority is always being there for our students who are in need of extra support. She is so deeply caring, calming, and always just has the right touch with our students. In fact, every student on campus knows Ms. Osterday, and their faces light up the moment they see her. With our teachers, she's proven to be a tremendous asset, as well as she provides them with numerous strategies and support. Thank you, Casey, for providing a safe and inviting space for our students and staff, and for serving so cheerfully. Casey, if you'd please come forward.
I can't be up here by myself. Last month I talked about the best, and boy, oh boy, is she just the best of the best. I am incredibly grateful and blessed to be able to have her start off my administration career. She is just so supportive. When we talk about an advocate for kids, she is it. Goes above and beyond. I don't know how many radio calls I hear throughout the day of a teacher needing support, and she is the first to respond. I'll be right there. I'm on it. But I thought every professional development, our staff, the staff shout-outs, and we read them aloud. And today we had 3 from Ms. Osterday. I just thought I'd like to share them with you all because it just really represents. We have kindergarten up to 8th grade on these. So one says, "You're such a huge help and an amazing friend to me and the kiddos." Another one says, "Thank you for all of the support and always being available for my friends." My little friends. And then, "I love your positive attitude and that you always have a smile on your face. You're such a bright light on our campus," and she really is. So, thank you.
I heard the introduction that students' faces light up when she walks in the room. Well, I saw Casey walk in the room for the job fair, and principals' faces lit up. And I don't know what she realized, but they all immediately gravitated toward her, and it was a pretty fierce competition to see who could hire her. Is that right, Ms. Embers?
Sure was.
Yes, yes. You won that one. So, Casey, you have an immediate impact on all of us, and when you walk in the room, you do lighten everything up for all of us. So congratulations on that, student services.
And just for the record, we have a very collegial group of principals until it comes to hiring, and then it's all bets are off. So our classified employee of the month is Stephanie Carrion, the plant manager at Vista Del Sur Accelerated Academy. Stephanie has joyfully served our district and the Vista Del Sur students and staff in a variety of capacities, crossing guard, assistant lead custodian, and since 2021, plant manager. Stephanie has taken it upon herself to not only ensure the school's facilities are working properly and efficiently, but she also takes time to build positive relationships with the Vista students. The students know that she holds high expectations of them and cares for their well-being. We thank you, Stephanie, for being a long-standing and committed member of the Levine community and for supporting our district's vision with the highest integrity. Stephanie Carrion, please come forward. Mr. Stewart.
Stephanie is an amazing plant manager. The one thing about her, I mean, they already said it a little bit, is positivity. So she comes in, she's always got solutions when there's an issue or problem. The other thing is, if you go around campus and you notice maybe something's wrong, or there's a situation, I might make a note of it to get back to her the next day or later in the day. By the time I get to her, she's already taken care of it. She's extremely proactive. She's absolutely what you want in a plant manager. She also still helps out with the crossing guard, so in the morning, she is that positive person that all the families see when they come to school every morning. So we appreciate her. She's great for us. Congratulations.
And now we will have our classroom spotlight with Levine Elementary School, and Dr. Robert Kaplinger, principal, will get us started. So Dr. Kaplinger.
Thank you, President Berrigan, members of the board, Dr. Sprout. It's my honor to stand here before you as principal of Levine Elementary School and talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, middle school. Did I say middle school or elementary? I might have said Levine Middle School because I'm so into middle school. But we're going to talk specifically about middle school and advisory tonight, which is a program that we have at Levine that we're looking forward to sharing with you tonight. To start, we want to define middle school as students that are in grades 5th through 8th and characteristically 10 to 14 years old. And a middle school, unlike a junior high school model, is designed to meet those academic, social, emotional, cultural, and developmental needs of our 10 to 14-year-olds. Not a junior high school model, which, as the name implies, is a junior version or a pre-version of high school that's getting them used to a system. A middle school meets their needs. And in a K-8 setting, it's a challenge, and we must be intentional and we must be strategic to meet those needs. And this is something that at Levine we worked really hard at over the last several years. One of those tools in our tool bag has been our partnership with AMLE. And I had the honor of attending the national conference last week in Washington, D.C. And it's a small, small world when I'm sitting in a breakout session and someone says to me, "Do you know Michelle Anderson?" So I apparently have a friend that's a principal in Scottsdale, and her husband's a superintendent. Does that ring a bell? She's dropping names. It's a small world. It's a great conference where you're able to meet educators from across the United States and leave really valuing and appreciating the middle school student. This is the same organization that recognized us as a school last year as a National School of Distinction for the work that we've done in creating a middle school model within a K-8 setting. To define middle schools and to look at the work that we've done at Levine, this is something that's guided by some core values that the middle school model embraces, and that is that students deserve an education that is first responsive, that addresses those distinctive needs of early adolescence, that is also challenging, where we have high expectations for all students, that is empowering, where we facilitate environments where students take responsibility for their own actions throughout the day, and positively contribute to the world around them through community service. It's equitable. We provide socially just learning opportunities for all students throughout the day. And it's engaging, where we foster a learning atmosphere that is relevant, participatory, and motivating. And this is something that today we're going to share with you through our advisory model. And to do that, I'd like to introduce first our assistant principal, Reed Brotherton, that's going to talk about some specific things we do in our schedule that addresses those needs for middle school students.
Hi, President Berrigan, members of the board, Dr. Sprout, Levine community. Thank you so much for providing me the time to talk to you about our middle school schedule. Well, it wouldn't be a presentation without including my daughters because they've taught me so many life lessons about what it means to be a parent and also a school administrator. And one of the most important lessons that they've taught me is that kids really want to have choice in what's going on with their lives. And that's what the middle school schedule does for us at Levine. Every 7th and 8th grader receive 2 special area classes each quarter. And what we found is that when students are interested in what they're doing, they're engaged, they're motivated, and this affects their academic success and their personal growth. So here's a brief overview of what our middle school schedule looks like. We start quarter 3 right at the beginning of the quarter, and it starts with our special area team. They create a course catalog. That course catalog is then presented to our students. The students provide us feedback on all the great things that they're hearing about the classes and things that they'd like to see improved. We take that information to improve the product, and then from there, we create a Google form, students sign up, and we have our set schedule that's set. So whether it's exploring sculpture or delving into robotics, creating the yearbook, learning to play an instrument, physical activity, students are motivated and they want to succeed in those areas. Another important facet of our schedule is our middle school advisory program. And really, we model our advisory program after the quote that's on the presentation here. And really what it says is that relationships matter. A student that walks onto our campus and they have at least one trusted adult that they can come and talk to about academics or their something that's going on personally, that's really what advisory is all about. So I have the pleasure of introducing 2 of our amazing teachers that I'm so happy are part of our Ohana, and that's Miss Jessica Lozano and Mr. Adrian Reese.
President Berrigan, members of the board, and Dr. Sprout, I would like to tell you why middle school matters, but first of all, why middle school? Or excuse me, why advisory? Advisory is a set time that we have every day where students can learn how to practice kindness through each monthly focus. And those themes that we practice that we focus on each month is responsibility, respect, gratitude, empathy, perseverance, honesty, cooperation, courage, and creativity. Why advisory? Advisory is, like Mr. Brotherton said, a time for them to build relationships. We usually have students that are not in our grade level, so I teach 6th grade, I have 5th grade advisory students, so they get to know me before they get to me. And again, the advisory is a moment for them to become leaders. So not just any type of leader, but leaders that are respectful, responsible, empathetic, and are grateful. And that is what our advisory program does. It helps them become future world leaders that is what we need.
President Berrigan, esteemed members of the board, Dr. Sprout, Levine community, thank you so much for having us here to speak on advisory, and I'm proud to speak on what occurs during that advisory block. What happens in that time that we have our students coming to us. As Mr. Brotherton said, relationships matter. At the core of our advisory program every day is we build relationships with our students and take on the role of being their advocate both academically and for their personal growth. Through utilizing tools such as icebreakers, what would you do or what could you do scenarios, team building activities, we work to build a community with the students in our classroom that they can go out and build community with the people around them. This is also a place where we practice mindfulness. We look at techniques such as breathing and where that can be applied in their school day or even outside of their school day. In advisory, we also are goal-oriented. This is where we set short-term goals, such as what are the grades you want to earn by the end of the quarter, to long-term goals, such as what are the careers you want to pursue by crafting vision boards. We also work to build a community mindset by partnering with groups such as our very own Levine Builders Club, sponsored by Kiwanis, to do things like the Canned Food Drive, and also working with our Levine Lions Club to work on projects such as the Penny Drive. Everything we do is working towards empowering students to become the best versions of themselves that they can be every day. In our efforts to help grow our students in their kindness, responsibility, respect, we utilize the Character Strong program to help us approach and give resources to students to help them grow in the social emotional realm.
President Berrigan, members of the board, Dr. Sprout, now with you we have some amazing middle school students who would like to present to you a Character Strong activity, one of many Character Strong activities that we do in our classroom. So with you we have Josue Aguilar, 7th grade. Violeta Aguilar, in 5th grade. Amber Estes from 5th grade. Ethan Medina, 7th grade. Avery Minjares, 7th grade. And Gracie Villarreal, 5th grade.
Middle school students, we invite you to now join the board and share your Character Strong activities.
What is kindness? Show kindness means being nice to other people, and just yourself, and treating
Fun fact, did you also know that dog bites besides you being kind, you can also be kind on by being afterwards all the time. Have you ever seen someone assess like you, like, shows how
about that. Far more on Casey now state because I don't know social media
at school.
But no, like sometimes there are people
at school,
so sometimes
I've gotten this sometimes they tell someone like, oh, you're really like a Snapchat that so like examples like in our and you can like practice like this person I learned to practice that tab because this is kind of tab and that can feel respectful but that can also
gives you time to be able to effectively and others can pick up on that. And they can help us understand. So do you like, important to remember what we're grateful for, huh? So do you guys do this, like this, is there other kind of activities like this that are taught? Do you do this like every day?
yes, what do you think?
What is kindness?
Students, go ahead and bring those conversations to a close. All right. Thank you so much, students. Go ahead and end those conversations.
That's cool.
This week?
They'll keep talking all night. Thank you very much. On behalf of the students and staff of Levine Elementary School, we thank you for having us tonight and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Dr. Kapliger, teachers and students, please come on up, Mr. Brotherton, and we'll get a quick picture here. And parents, if you would like to come and get a picture of the group, that's absolutely fine.
Wow. Once again, Levine Elementary School students, thank you. I definitely sensed from all of you that this is a very important part of your day and well-used time. And so thank you. Parents, thank you for entrusting your children with us. Let's give them a round of applause for being here tonight as well.
Yeah, I just want to share. When I was your guys' age, maybe a little bit older, I think I was a freshman in high school, my dad shared a book with me called Emotional Intelligence. And up until then, my pursuits were always about education and intellectual intelligence and that IQ piece. And I thought that that's where my success was going to be. But after reading that book, because I didn't have something very, very cool like this at my middle school, this is excellent that you guys have this opportunity. So take advantage of it. It's incredibly important to learn that emotional intelligence piece about being kind and being empathetic and being respectful, those are the things that will help you with your success in life. So I want you to keep paying attention to this, find ways to implement this in your life, and I promise you, you will be successful no matter what you choose to do. And again, parents, thanks for sharing your kids with us tonight. You have incredible teachers here, incredible administration. I'm very proud of what's happening at Levine. So we will take a break now. Oh, sorry. Yes, Dr. Sprout.
Board, we should have had an extra slide in here tonight, and I didn't think about it until, and here's my excuse, okay? We get our data back from our state testing in May, and from that moment, our data team is processing data, making prediction on school grades, and quite honestly, by the time the grades come out, we've worked on it for months, and we've known what they were going to be. But Since our last board meeting, our school grades were released, and I'm very proud, and Sarah Zimbruski is going to be giving you an update, a more complete update. But before everyone leaves, Levine had its highest academic scores in the history of the school district last year, which I think deserves a round of applause for everyone here. I see some glitter. Paseo Point back there. Paseo Point got its first A in its history, so congratulations. Rogers Ranch became the first school in the second school in the district to get an A 2 years in a row, so congratulations to the Rogers Ranch. But overall, outstanding performance by our schools, and a tribute to this entire community and what we represent from the board through to our students and all those parents and community members that support us, and of course, our incredible staff. And so congratulations, and that's okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Now we really will take a break. We're going to move into the business portion of our meeting, but families, feel free to leave if you'd like. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, but it's a little more boring. And we'll come back in a minute. We will reconvene, and we have a presentation I am very much looking forward to. Tell us about student achievement.
All right. Well, thank you, President Berrigan, members of the board, Dr. Sprout, and all of these guests that had to be here tonight. All right. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share with you the whole purpose of why we're here, right? And we, like Dr. Sprout already said, we've got some great celebrations tonight. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. I thought Charlie, don't you usually present?
Numbers? Yeah.
Oh, okay. He gave me his spot tonight, you know, it was kind of weird, but all right. So as you know, each spring, students in grades 3 through 8 take the Arizona Academic Standards Assessment, also known as ASA. All Arizona public school students in grades 3 through 8 do take this assessment in ELA and math. And then in 5th grade and 8th grade, those students also take AZ Sci. So I just want to share with you a few celebrations. First of all, like Dr. Sprout shared, last year we had our highest scores in the district, and this year we've got our second highest scores. So we still have a lot to be really proud of. And as he mentioned, 2 schools received A labels, which is an excellent label for 2 or more consecutive years, Rogers Ranch STEM Academy, as well as Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy. So big, huge congratulations to those 2 schools. And likewise, Paseo Point earned their, whoops, what did I just do? Earned their first A rating in the history of the school. So those are phenomenal feats, and we're super proud of them. And then out of our B schools, 4 out of the 6 actually were less than 3 points from an A. So when I was a principal, I used to call that an A minus. I know Mr. Thomas used to call it a B plus, you know. But the state does call them Bs, but we're really close, and I feel strongly that they'll be up to As this year. All right, so taking a look at just kind of the history of our assessments here, our overall passing rates. On the left-hand side, there is our ELA. And as you can see, our proficiency rate is equal to what it was a year ago. We're almost back in ELA up to our pre-pandemic state, which is that red bar at 41. So we've made great gains, kind of making up for some of that learning loss that occurred with the pandemic. Math, we've taken, a little bit longer to make those gains. We're just a little bit less than where we were a year ago. And again, looking at that red bar, we do have some more gaps that we need to get filled here as soon as possible. And then just looking kind of across each grade level and how did we compare in ELA against the state. And as you can see, we're pretty neck and neck with the state. 7th grade, we really showed a nice bump over what the state average was. And just kind of looking at a comparison of the Arizona districts versus our district and kind of the rate change from fiscal year 22 to 23. So as you see, the state overall did not show gain. In fact, we decreased in scores quite a bit. And unfortunately, like in 3rd grade, the state decreased 2 points, we decreased 3. But in 4th grade, where the state decreased, we actually showed an increase. So as you look across the grade levels there, 7th grade, again, another area to really celebrate in ELA, because where the state saw a decrease in passing rates by 4%, we saw an increase of 5%. And then switching over to math, again, comparing grade levels in our district compared to those across the state. We are not too far below the state, but we definitely need to really work on improving in those areas. And I feel confident with some things we're putting into place this year that we're going to make some great gains there. And then again, taking a look at how the state rate changed and how our rates changed. In 4th grade, the state saw a decrease by 2, but we saw a larger decrease. So that's something we're looking at. In 5th grade, where the state saw a decrease by 2%, we actually increased by 5. So there are some definite areas where we are doing some great things, and now we just need to emulate that across every grade level and every subject. So, like all Arizona schools receive a letter grade. And so the letter grades are based on 50% based on growth, 30% is based on overall proficiency, 10% is on acceleration and readiness, and 10% on EL proficiency and growth. So I'm going to break that down a little bit and show you how schools across the state looked and how we looked. So at the traditional K-8 model, which is what we fall into, out of the 1,369 districts, or schools rather, that's the breakdown of how many A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's occur across the state. And then how did we look at each individual school? So there's lots of categories. The first category is proficiency. And this doesn't mean that's the percent proficient at each of those schools. So students receive a score in ELA, a score in math, and let's say they got partially proficient on ELA, they would receive 0.6 of a point. If they received proficient, they would receive 1 point. If they received a highly proficient, they get 1 3/10 of a point. They get those for ELA and math. Minimally proficient, we do not get any points for. And then these points that you see up there is an average of all of the student points together. So it's not the actual passing proficiency rate for this school, it's the average of the proficiency points. And then 50% is based on growth. And each student in the state, like if I'm a 4th grade student and I took 3rd grade ASA, as a 3rd grader I scored partially proficient in ELA. Now I'm put into a bank of other 3rd graders that scored partially proficient on ELA in fiscal year 22. And then as a 4th grader in ELA, I am then compared my score compared to all these people that were in that pool with me, and I get a point between 1 and 99. And I get one for ELA and one for math, and it shows how did I grow compared to my peers. So if they gave me a 45, that means that I grew more than 45% of other students that were in that same pool as me. So the highest you can get there is 50, and as you can see, looking at Cheatham, they got all 50 points for growth. So now what we need to do is just really concentrate that growth and making sure we're growing towards proficiency. We've got to get our proficiency rates up. And then we also get 10% based on EL proficiency and growth. And this is, you can get 5 points for just students that are reclassified. So you want them to reclassify maybe from basic to intermediate to proficient and things like that. So you can get up to 5 points for that. And then you can get another 5 points based on where do they fall in the standard deviation for percentage of proficiency as related to the state. So again, you can get a maximum of 10 points there. And for this, you also need to remember it is for kindergartner through 8th grade students. All students that take the Azella test is what that is based on. And as long as your school has at least 10 students that are FAE, that full academic year students that fall into that category, they will receive the 10 points for that. And then acceleration and readiness. This is kind of a fun one to try to figure out, but there's basically a total of 66 points available here. However, they cap it at 10. So there's various categories such as chronic absenteeism. You can get 2 points for decreasing the number of students that are chronically absent from one year to the next. And that again goes for 1st through 8th grade students. So if you decrease from the prior year, you can get 2 points. Another 2 points you can get is by the number of special education students you have that spend at least 80% of their day in the general education classroom. And if that's within a higher percentage of what the state average is, you can get 2 points there. Another way is you can get up to, I believe it's 52 points in various subgroups. So you've got all these different subgroups of students, and you look at, let's say, your Hispanic population of students, and you looked at how their overall scores were in math one year. If that score increased in proficiency level the next year, you would get 2 points for that particular subgroup. So there's a whole group of areas. There's 5 points you can receive for decreasing the number of 3rd grade students that score minimally proficient from the prior year. Even though these are completely 2 different groups of students, it's based on one fiscal year 3rd graders to the next fiscal year 3rd graders, and you can get 5 points for that. Likewise, you can get 2.5 points for increasing the number of 8th grade students that score highly proficient on math from one year to the next, and you can get 2.5 points for decreasing the number of 8th grade math students that scored minimally proficient. Now, in order to get any of these points, you have to have had at least 10 students in that particular subgroup the prior year and this year. So, for instance, EFGA, FY22, there were 8 FAE 8th grade students. So last year, they were ineligible for 5 of those points that 8th graders could have received for math because they didn't have anything to compare it to. So although they had 60 8th graders last year, they only had 8 FAE students the year before. So there's different areas like that. And when you look at the Levine Online Academy, where there's 0 points there, well, the Levine Online Academy on testing day 1 only had 22 students enrolled. So they didn't have enough FAE students in any of these subgroups to receive most of the bonus points. So that score we're actually in the process of appealing because the state says, that they think they're out of 90, but based on our calculations and what that school was really eligible for, they should be based out of 80, which would, assuming we win that appeal, which I feel strongly we will, that school would also receive a B. And then moving on to bonus points, there's a total of 5 bonus points that schools can receive. 2 for special education, and that comes out to how many special education students you have enrolled over the state average enrollment in special education. So if you're 80% or higher above the state, then you get 2 points. If you're 70 to 79%, you get 1.5 points. And if you're 60 to 69 points, you get 1 point. And then the other 3 points can be earned by science. And science basically, which we still haven't received, I don't believe, the AZ-Sci overall passing percentage for the state. But if your school is one or more standard deviations above the state average, you can get 3 points. And if you are less than 1% but above the state average, you can get 1.5 points for science. So that's just kind of a breakdown of how those points are determined, and then the overall letter grades for each school. All right, so how do we compare to Phoenix Union High School district feeder schools? Well, we always like to show this, but for some reason we also like second place. So we are after Madison once again, but we're feeling strongly again that we're going to make terrific gains this year. And then likewise in math, second place once again to Madison. And looking at these feeder schools' letter grades, you can see these are all the feeder districts that feed into Phoenix Union High School District, and how many schools each of them received in A's, B's, C's, etc. And then if you look at the far right, that shows the letter grade GPA. So this is the overall district GPA, that you get a district letter grade, and we are a solid 3.2. However, once the Levine Online Academy gets that B, we will move up to a 3.3. So again, right behind Madison, that sits at a 3.5. So we're doing really well, especially in comparison to some of our neighboring districts. And this is just another little viewpoint here. Again, that top bar is Levine District. 90% of our schools are A's and B's. However, the Online Academy is going to make that bar 100%. I feel sure about that. And then overall in the state, 73% are A's and B's, and other Phoenix feeder schools are 60%. And then how do we rank in compared to the whole county? Well, I know this is really small, so we're checking your eyes here. But looking at the left column is the state ELA passing rate, and an average was 39%, and that gray bar, and then we're the gold bar right below it at 38%. And then the right-hand column is math, and the statewide passing percentage was 33, and our district overall was 30. And, we always like to compare us to the local charter schools. And so where do we rank? Here's all the local charter schools are in our vicinity, kind of in the South Phoenix area there, and where they stand. You see that they do have one A school. Well, how does that one charter A compare to Levine School District's 3 A's? Well, let's see. Rogers Ranch STEM Academy, 84.57%. That other school, Basis, 88.07%. But then you've got Paseo Point Dual Language Academy coming in at 88.57%, and Vista del Sur coming in at 97.21%. So where are the best schools of choice? Right here in Levine. So we are super proud of that. But like we've been saying, we're constantly looking at ways to improve, because we haven't arrived yet, nor will we ever arrive, but we can keep making great gains, right? So we review and analyze our data. I think this year we've analyzed it more than any other year, and Catherine has been a huge help there, and she's just done phenomenal things that we've provided for the principals and sat down with them and worked with them looking at their data to help them analyze and then utilize this to identify all the effective instructional practices and guide our PLCs, our professional learning communities, and really guide those conversations and make sure that what our teachers are planning is purposeful, aligned at the highly proficient level of the standards, and that what we're asking our students to do is highly aligned, and so that we're preparing them the best we can. And providing that quality professional development, just making sure that our teachers have the tools and resources and knowledge to go out and do what they need to do and what they can do. and just continuing to develop our teachers, give them those opportunities. As you know, we've changed tweaked our evaluation instrument this year for teachers, and it's really given us the opportunity to provide just really some valuable feedback and having those conversations that are just a little bit more legitimate, where teachers aren't focused so much on a number, but actual information that's given in the feedback. And the biggest thing is all kids, every day. We need them here, making that academic growth towards proficiency. So it does take all of us, and can't thank the board enough for all of your support and all of our endeavors. Dr. Sprout, obviously, who's heading this whole thing, and just all of his support. But the true leaders are the ones that are at the schools each and every day and in the classrooms and just bringing their all, their A game every single day. So thank you so much for all that you guys have done. And with that, I will take any questions or comments.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Limbrewski. Any questions or comments? Michelle Anderson.
Of course.
Shocking.
I get the pleasure of doing this presentation for the district I work for next week. So I've already had to turn it in, so I can't take any of your slides. But many are the same. But one of the things that I do actually have in my presentation that I wanted to share with all of you guys is that the model of calculating this letter grade formula is very detailed. And it really can come down to just a couple kids that can make that impact. And this doesn't define what our schools are. So a quote that I came across that I think really captures what even Levine Elementary did tonight is that standardized tests are a measure of student achievement, but they do not measure a student's heart or their work ethic or their kindness or their creativity or anything else that makes for successful adults. And so a lot of those things that you guys are doing is building those relationships in our schools and taking the time to help each kid understand what they need to know next and helping them to shine. And so that is what is most important in our community as well. And I also just want to touch to I know the gut-wrenching feeling of being so close to an A, like a point away, Desert Meadows, that one or couple EL kids. No, just continue to work hard because it will happen. We had a school last year in Avondale that was like a half a point away from an A, and they are an A this year. So have some hope and keep working hard. And you guys are doing amazing, amazing things. And then one other thing real quick is I noticed that you did touch on ELA and math, but no science data. But there are state averages. So ask me.
Did they come out?
I have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
For 7th or for 5th and 8th grade.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we hadn't seen those yet, so.
I'll show you the secret hiding place.
All
But
right,
yes,
sounds good.
amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for all of your hard work and just keep at it.
Appreciate
You're doing
that.
great things.
Thank
Any
you,
other
Ms. Anderson.
questions?
Other comments or questions?
I just appreciate the presentation, very helpful and like a great amount of information to help us understand this. I appreciate that.
Good, thank you. All right, well, thank you much.
Thank you, Ms. Limbrewski. Okay, we have a consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Next, we have policy revision. Dr. Sprout, anything on that?
Yes, the governing board is being asked to approve 11 policy changes based on changes in statute from the 2023 legislative session. If the board chooses, they can do the first and second reading at this meeting.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion one way or the other?
I'll motion that we do both.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded that we waive the second reading and accept the policy revisions this evening. All those in favor? Aye. Very good. Next, the construction manager at risk procurement. Dr. Sprout.
Thank you. The district is in the process of architecting school number 10 with the governing board's approval at our most recent meeting. And we are seeking and asking the governing board to approve to utilize a construction manager at risk process for the construction of this facility.
Thank you, Dr. Sprout. It is hard to believe we're even already at this stage of school number 10. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, the new data architect coordinator position.
Yes, thank you. The data architect coordinator will be responsible for designing, upon your approval, a comprehensive data platform and integrating diverse data sources such as Synergy and Visions into a centralized data warehouse.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. And then the intergovernmental agreement with the Arizona Department of Education. Dr. Sprout.
Yes, this is, we're getting information, new information is coming out almost every day on this program, but we do have an IGA for the governing board to sign with the broad characteristics. And to give you an overview, the Achievement Tutoring Program is designed to provide reading, writing, and mathematics tutoring for students in grades 1 through 8 who are testing below proficiency with the goal of increasing student proficiency on the statewide AASA. This is the Arizona Department of Education funneling remaining ESSER monies into this program.
All right, do I have a motion on the IGA?
Motion.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, comments from the board. This is a big.
Closer to the mic here, but thanks everyone for being here tonight. And I got to go out and visit all the schools last week, and hearing all this data and everything. As I went through the schools, it was great to see every school has such unique needs and culture there, and every school looking so carefully at that data. You see them in PLCs and creative ways of looking at the data and making really purposeful decisions in their instruction, but then also in how there are things to work on their attendance numbers or their recess referrals or referrals coming from breakfast and how we can use breakfast and recess and dress down days and all these different things to improve a whole variety of things going on in the school, those test scores and all the things like Michelle was talking about. So I just really appreciate all the effort, like so much purposeful, intentional improvement and work going on in the school from everybody. So I appreciate all that work and congratulations to everybody on the great things you're doing, both in the test scores and the other ways that, the other successes that you're having.
Thank you. Dr. Watkins?
Dr. Sprout, did you want to mention about, we were talking about with the student to teacher at this time, or?
I was going to maybe mention that in executive session, but
Okay, that's one thing to kind of know.
Actually, I can give you an overview. A few meetings ago, Dr. Watkins made a request if there's any way for the Levine School District to grow its own teachers, even going into our elementary school and setting students on a trajectory to become teachers. And what we are working through right now is with the Levine Education Foundation to put an emphasis on scholarships for students. 2 students per year is what we're looking at right now, minimum, for students who will commit to becoming teachers in our school district. What this will allow us to do is not only to support them financially, but also our HR team will be able to help them negotiate other scholarships, as well as other opportunities that there are out there, such as I always get the Arizona Teachers Academy, and helping them with their internships and paid student teaching, helping them to get their emergency certs so they can have a maximum in-college experience, as well as any work that they want to do with the Levine School District. And so we're still, I would say, very much in the formation phase, but we appreciated Dr. Watkins' suggestion. I appreciate HR team really taking this and moving it forward. I don't know, Tim, if you have anything else that you would add that I missed here.
No, on top of the Levine Education Foundation, and again, they can start, you can get a substitute teaching cert upon graduation from high school. So we can talk college and student teaching internship, but substitute teach in our schools on days that your college schedule allows you to. The second portion of that is ASU just released a program for paraprofessionals that the same Arizona Teacher Academy, if they're a paraprofessional that has an AA or 60 credit hours an online course they can complete, so they can continue to work as a parapro, complete the course during online outside of their work hours, and 16-month also tuition free. So it's growing your own students, but then also growing our own classified or professionals. So, again, that came out of a couple board meetings ago, giving up a presentation or the survey results. Dr. Watkins, you asked that question. I just got it flowing. So we appreciate once again yours and the governing board members' support. So thank you for that.
And also just have a great Thanksgiving, have a nice reset, spend time with your family, and come back stronger than where we already are.
Ms. Anderson?
Well, the one thing that I wanted to just give a shout out to is to Todd and his team and all of the special area teachers for putting on that Special Olympics. It was so great to be able to see all of those kids out there just with smiles on their faces, engaged in the activities, and even all of the kids that volunteered from Travis High School who came over and actually engaged with those kids and helped make it a good time. So thanks for doing that. It was an amazing, amazing time to see that, and it brings so much joy to those kids and those families. So thank you.
Thank you. In this season of thankfulness and appreciation, I have two things I want to share. Just my personal appreciation for you, Principal Ketchum, and your service as a veteran to our country. So thank you for that, and to all of the veterans that serve in our district now. Additionally, I am just grateful for each of you in this room, and I try and share that in every meeting, but just something that I've been more aware of lately is the work that our teachers do. And we can drop our kids off every day at class, and we have an expectation that their teachers are feeding them instructionally and making sure that they have what they need for their educational goals. But there is an emotional component to that sometimes. And when a teacher takes care of our children from an emotional perspective, something they really probably don't have to do, but because they care about the work that they do and the students that they support, I don't know that people fully understand that as a parent what that means to us. And so I would just share with all of the teachers in our district how much it means when you not just take care of our students' instructional needs, but you take care of them emotionally as well when we can't be there for them. So that is my appreciation this evening. We have our next board meeting on December 14th, and it'll be right here. And now we are going to motion to adjourn to executive session. I make that motion.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. And good night to board meeting, and now we're going to adjourn the regular board meeting. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Good night, friends.